It is Father's Day. And even though Father's Day is on Sunday, not tomorrow on Monday, I would like to make this Mental Health Monday be about Father's Day. Father's Day is already falling in Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and it is important to remember that dads are doing the work. Does that mean every dad out there is pulling his weight? No. Unfortunately, there are deadbeat dads. But a lot of these dads that are getting a bad rap really are not doing a bad job. Also, a lot of people, especially a lot of the people that follow me and my channel here, really are coming to a point in their life where their dads might not be around for that much longer. Pretty dark, I know. I lost my dad when I was 16 years old. I met my dad when I was 8 years old, so I only knew him at that point half of my life. It's been longer that I lived without my dad than I lived with my dad, but the times I spent with him were amazing. They're things I'll never forget. It was my first introduction to really getting to travel, because when I met my dad, he lived in Encino, California. So when I was 7 years old, I got on a plane and flew out there all by myself. Obviously, they had the flight attendants and stuff, keeping me on a leash, so to speak. But I flew from upstate New York to Los Angeles, one of the biggest cities in our country, and to get off the plane and be met by a person I've never met before. And the crazy thing about it was I got off that plane, and this was back in the day when people could come up to the gate, but I got off that plane, I saw my dad, I knew immediately it was him. I'd never seen a picture of him at this point. We didn't have FaceTime back then. I was going off of, that's him. And I just knew. My dad immediately became a hero to me. He was the most fun to spend with. We would go water skiing and biking and camping and literally everything. I broke my first bone skateboarding in Encino, doing something I shouldn't have been doing. But it introduced me to a world so far outside the world I already knew. Some people are fortunate enough to grow up with their dad and their parents still together. It's not that way for everybody. So through the years, my dad ended up meeting somebody else. He got married to my stepmom, which is one of the most amazing human beings on the planet. And he ended up moving to Seattle. That's where he ultimately got married. He lived in the Seattle area, and that introduced me to a city that I would give anything to move to. I love the Seattle area. I got to do a ton out there. I got to really live a life out there that it's almost kind of fairy tale like. It was a crazy thing where I'd be able to look out my dad's kitchen window and in the distance see the snow-capped Rocky Mountains in the middle of the summer. It was an amazing place. It was crazy being on a water ski going down Lake Washington, and in the distance you still have to look up because Mount Rainier is in front of you. And it's that big. Because it's been so long since my dad has passed away, there's also a lot of things I don't remember. So a lot of things I forget. Some days it's hard to remember what his face looked like or what his voice sounded like. But the days I can remember those things, I cherish. And that's what this is all about. If your dad is still around and you have any relationship with him at all, especially if it's a good one, cherish the memories. Because when they're gone, there's no getting them back. Your dad is your dad. You only get one of them. And this includes, maybe it's your stepdad, maybe it's an adoptive dad. But the person who raised you and the person who taught you what a father's love is, that's the person to cherish. If you're watching this video and maybe you grew up without a dad, or you grew up with a dad that was less to be desired, my heart goes out to you. And I don't mean for this video to trigger you or to make you feel any certain way. And maybe you could take the lesson of cherishing something and putting it into something you truly do cherish. My dad was a pain in the ass, just like me. That's something I'll never forget, and it's something so small. But anybody who knew my dad, when they have a moment where they see me causing trouble, they probably see a lot of him in me. And it sucks that I'll never get to see him do that kind of stuff again. It sucked since I was 16 years old. The pain doesn't go away. You learn to live with it. But I will always cherish so many amazing memories I have with him. So to the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. The ones who are doing it and doing it right and creating memories, keep doing it, because your children will hold on to those forever. I can promise you that.